Welcome back. We're going to talk about some quick tips for oil pastels today. I have listed out some things that I had in mind. First is blending, second is color mixing, and a couple examples of some out-of-the-box art that we can do with oil pastels. So I will try and stick with just one or two colors so you can see the difference between the different you know how you do color mixing and blending and stuff like that. So for blending, let's use yellows and oranges. So there are two ways. On YouTube you'll find a lot of videos that talk about specifically how to hold your pastels, how it has to be one pressure versus the other. This is your art. This is how you have imagined your landscape to be. So work with what makes you feel good. Different techniques. I'm going to talk about light pressure. This is when very simple, very light color pigment is transferred onto the paper. And you can still see a lot of white coming through. You see your yellows, you see your orange, but you also see a lot of your white coming through. Heavy pressure is, as the name says, use a heavier pressure. So you won't see, there'll be very little, if any, of the white paper coming through. I like to work with, when I'm working with oil pastels, I like to blend using my color itself. If you don't want to use blend using your color, the other option is, I'll show you right here, is you use your fingers. Oil pastels have a lot of wax in them, and the friction with your finger will blend it very well together. So here's one way of blending it. Now, talking about color mixing, there are two ways of doing it. Again, I'm going to stick with yellow, and I'm using red for this one. I have put a medium pressure so you can, there's a little bit of white showing through, and I'm going to take my red and go over it, and I'm going to go over again, and when you mix it in, you can see that it's mostly orange. The red is turned into, the red and yellow makes orange, so you can make a whole new color using heavy pressure, medium to heavy pressure. The second one is mostly, it's called stippling, and this is where you use points. Just put in a little pressure. You use different points to make an illusion of a color. So you still have a true red, a true yellow points all together, but when you're looking at it from far, it gives an illusion of an orange. So it has to be close together. There's a yellow, there is a red, and just a combined effect. The combined effect is what makes it look like an orange. I have a combination of small dots and big dots for you to see. Next one, this is my fun part. This is, what do you do with oil pastels? Yes, we can do blend, we can do sunsets, we can do water, you can show movement of water, but some fun parts is, say, scratch art. So I'm just going to go and do a really heavy layer of my paint, and so now that I have a heavy layer of the red, it's more like maroon, they call it brick red. I'm going to just scratch something out. I'm going to scratch a heart out. So, you know, so you can make like designs in it, and it's fun to scratch any kind of art out of that. Another fun way is put two colors in. And now try to scratch something out. If you go lightly, you should see yellow. And I can say I love art. That's one. So you can see here when I've used two colors to layer one over the other, you can, when you scratch it out, it just gives out a different pop of color from the scratch versus here where it's mostly like a monochrome. Oh, now this is my fun part. We can work on transfers. There are two ways. I'm going to take a different sheet of paper to show what I'm talking about. I'm going to fill this up with different oil pastels. Okay, so here's my yellow, here's some purple, violet, light purple. I have some green. Oh, it's a beautiful green. And I have some dark purple. Just filling up the page with multiple colors. I'll do some red. I'm going to try and leave as little white as possible, so they can see, and I've got some blue, so you can see what I'm talking about. So I've filled it up with different colors, and you know, it's pretty colorful. Right here, I'm going to take one light green and see how that goes. So I have different colors. I'm going to transfer it over here. Say I would like to draw a Donald Duck. I'm drawing a Donald Duck because that'll kind of, you know, take up all the space, and you should be able to see what I'm trying to do here. And I'm going to fill up his eyes. I'm going to leave a little twinkle. Same here. I'm going to fill it up pretty well. Try not to leave too much white. There you go. And I think I'm done. Close up the beak. There you go. And hopefully it's right here. See? Now it's transferred. All the colors I had here have transferred over into my painting, into my little Donald Duck. There you go. So those were a few quick tips on using oil pastels. Go give a few projects a try. Try these different variations in blending and mixing, and let me know.